You ever notice how often we say that one little word? Tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll fix it tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow. It sounds harmless, right? Just a tiny delay, a soft promise to ourselves. But somehow, tomorrow never really comes. Some people call it laziness. Some call it procrastination. But what if it's something deeper? Something buried beneath guilt, perfectionism, or even fear. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll hear might not only explain why you keep saying tomorrow, but also reveal what your mind is really protecting you from. For some people, I'll do it tomorrow isn't an excuse. It's a shield, because the task itself isn't the problem, it's what the task represents. You tell yourself you'll start that project, send that message, clean that room, but somewhere deep inside, you already feel the weight of failure before you even begin. So your brain whispers, not today, you're not ready yet. It's called emotional avoidance. When your brain learns to protect you from discomfort, even at the cost of your own growth. It's not that you're lazy. It's that your nervous system is trying to keep you safe. Safe from disappointment, from rejection, from the possibility that maybe you'll try and still fall short. So instead, you choose tomorrow. A softer, safer word for not yet. But deep down, you already know. Tomorrow is just today, waiting in disguise. And maybe that's the cruel irony. Every time you say tomorrow, you're not postponing the task. You're postponing yourself, your progress, your healing, your chance to grow through the discomfort. But let's be honest, starting is hard, not because the act itself is difficult, but because it forces you to face the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. The doubt, the fear, the quiet whisper that says, "What if I'm not good enough?" And so you wait. You delay. You promise yourself, tomorrow I'll be stronger. But here's the truth you might not want to hear. You won't suddenly wake up fearless one day. You'll just wake up with the same fears, unless you start despite them. And here's something interesting. Psychologists say that when we delay, we aren't avoiding the task, we're avoiding the emotion attached to it. That uncomfortable mix of anxiety and uncertainty that comes when we step into the unknown. And when that emotion feels too heavy, the brain's quickest fix is to push it away. Not forever, just until tomorrow. It's a little lie we tell ourselves, a promise we never really plan to keep. But there's another layer to this. We don't procrastinate because we think we have time. We procrastinate because we believe our future self will be better, smarter, calmer, more disciplined. You think, tomorrow me will have the energy. Tomorrow me will finally feel ready. But tomorrow you is just you. Same brain, same fears, just one day later. That illusion that our future self will somehow be stronger is what psychologists call present bias. We overvalue comfort in the moment and underestimate the cost of delay. And for a brief second, telling yourself you'll do it tomorrow feels good. It relieves the tension. You feel like you've taken control, made a decision, bought yourself some time. That's the trap. The mind rewarding itself for the illusion of progress. It's called the intention-action gap. You intend to act, and that intention gives a fake hit of accomplishment, but the action never happens. And every tomorrow you whisper quietly expands that gap until even small tasks start to feel monumental. And here's where it gets even more human. For some people, procrastination isn't a time problem, it's a perfection problem. You tell yourself you'll start when it feels right, when the mood is perfect, when you've figured out every step. But perfect never really arrives, does it? Because perfection is just another form of control. And control is just another form of fear. You want things to go smoothly, not because you're obsessive, but because you're scared of what it means if they don't. Because deep down, failure doesn't just mean it didn't work. It means you weren't enough. So instead of facing that possibility, you wait, you delay. You promise yourself, tomorrow I'll be stronger. But here's the truth you might not want to hear. You won't suddenly wake up fearless one day. You'll just wake up with the same fears, unless you start despite them. And I get it. Starting is messy. It's uncomfortable. It feels like walking into a storm without an umbrella. But every time you begin, even imperfectly, you teach your brain that discomfort isn't danger, it's growth. And slowly, the fear that kept you frozen begins to fade. That's why some people seem so effortlessly consistent. It's not that they're stronger or more disciplined. It's that they've trained their mind to stop waiting for tomorrow. They start scared, uncertain, unready. But they start anyway. Maybe you've noticed this too. The longer you wait, the heavier the task feels. Like every "not today" adds another layer of guilt, another ounce of pressure, until one day even the thought of starting feels exhausting. That's emotional debt. Every tomorrow you promise but never deliver turns into a quiet guilt that follows you everywhere. And here's the hardest part. That guilt slowly eats away at your self-trust. You stop believing yourself because deep down you know you've broken too many tiny promises. But that can change. Not with motivation, not with some grand life plan, but with something simpler, honesty. Instead of saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," try saying, "I'm afraid to start," or "I don't want to feel the discomfort right now." Because when you name the truth, the illusion breaks. And once you see your avoidance clearly, you can choose something different. Sometimes the reason you keep saying tomorrow isn't because you don't care. It's because you care too much. You want it to go right. You want to feel ready. You want to prove something, maybe to others, maybe to yourself. But the truth is, you don't need to be ready. You just need to be willing. Willing to begin. Willing to be imperfect. Willing to show up even when it's uncomfortable. Because the real difference between someday and today isn't time, it's courage. Maybe tomorrow isn't the enemy. Maybe it's just a mirror, showing you where fear still has a home inside you. So ask yourself, what are you postponing because you're afraid to see who you'll be when you try? What part of your life is quietly waiting for you to show up? And maybe the real question isn't, when will you start? But what story are you tired of repeating? Because every time you break free from tomorrow, you come closer to becoming the version of yourself that actually believes in their own potential. So which one are you? The dreamer who waits for tomorrow, or the human who decides that today is enough? Because tomorrow might be uncertain, but today is still yours. Subscribe, because we are still human.